tips for transitioning to adult service. So I think in the thing that we did, it was like, oh, like sometimes people don't like it, or sometimes it is they don't feel comfortable transitioning. So let me give you some tips that maybe might help. I do think that youth worship is very unique. I think it is special, so I'm happy to be there. But the reality is that, yeah, it's youth service. You're not going to be there forever. If you decide to stay there forever, hopefully it's in like some serving capacity and you're just not like sitting there because like being around like youth. So these are the tips that I think for adult service. Something unique about our church is that you get to have an adult service. Some of you will go to college and you'll go to a church where it's like a lot of college people, maybe. And so something that our church is intergenerational. So we do have old people and young people worshiping together, but that does mean you need to make a little bit of extra effort. So let me tell you what I mean. What I mean by that is that when you first go to adult service, like once you're like a college freshman and you're not in youth service anymore, you have to anticipate not serving and just sitting there and just being like, okay, this is church now, okay? I think that's a little rough, especially for those of us who have been serving like maybe for a long time. When you stop doing service and you just sit there, it feels like, what's the point? Because we're so used to just doing stuff. But church is not service, right? Church is coming to church to worship God. And so now you're in this mindset where it's like, hey, I'm not here to do stuff, but I'm here to actually sit and worship and participate now as a member of the congregation, not necessarily in like a role, like as a worship leader or as a preacher. Okay, so now you have to shift your mindset. I think when you do that, it makes it a little bit easier because it's not so jarring anymore. This is like what you expect now. And so that means now you prepare. You get enough sleep beforehand because now you're not waking up early to go to like practice or anything, but you have to make sure that you actually get to church on time just to be there on time. And then you get there early and you can actually have time to talk to people, or you can have time to get a seat. So there's a lot of preparation, I think, that will make it better. You can't just come to church anymore. You have to be like, okay, Sundays, I'm going to church. What does my Saturday night look like now? Am I going to eat before I go to church? Am I going to have an empty stomach when I go to church? So just that preparation, I think, will make it a little bit easier. And then now, because you're not serving and you're not in any leadership capacity, maybe, and you don't have like a youth group to just be like, okay, these are my people. No, you actually have to go to the adult service and participate in there. And I think the thing that hit me on this is that like, church is really what you make church to be, okay? Now, a lot of people, we can come to church and like stuff is already there for us, but that's not how our church is. Our church is like, this is our church. And so, we're not like huge or anything like that. I think we're big, but we're not like big like mega church type of thing, okay? Where it's like every week is like crazy or an event or something, no. And so that means that you actually have to participate and you actually have to sing. Okay, so as a worship leader, yeah, we can play music and like it's not going to be like Phil Wickham coming here leading worship, right? So worship is only as good as the congregation and the worship leaders make it to be. And so that means that if you sing, then it's like a feedback. Then we play better and then the congregation sings better. So that's how I see it, at least. Okay, it's not 100% on the worship team to be good so the congregation sings. No, it needs to be feedback that way, a loop. Okay, and then participation also means you take notes during the sermon. I think that's probably why I say that in youth, to hopefully train them to be like, okay, if you actually want to learn something and retain it and take it with you into the week, you have to take notes. So take notes during the sermon. You spend time talking to people before and after. A lot of times people will just like leave after church. But if you want to have a community, sometimes that means you have to stay and talk to people. And when you're older, you're probably going to be driving yourself to church now, right? Or maybe there's some freedom in if you have to leave or go. And so do your best to actually make use of the time that we have on Sunday mornings to be with each other. And then finally, once you get used to that, then I suggest you start looking for areas where you want to serve. I actually don't suggest you start serving immediately. Even for music, I think it's better if you just attend and get used to just being a normal person. And then you think about, okay, what areas can I possibly serve in the worship service? And of course, you don't have to serve in the worship service. There's always other areas to serve in at church. But this would hopefully make Sunday mornings a little bit better for those of us who are going to be here when you're in college. Any questions about what I just said? Yeah. Tiff, anything you want to add to that?
No, that's really good.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So yeah, thanks for the time. It will be weird because like once you graduate from this class, it's like you're not our students anymore. You're kind of our peers in a sense because it's not like we're. Yeah, I mean we're older than you, but like it's not like we're your teacher anymore. You know? Yeah. Yeah. So we're happy to see you, and even if you don't end up coming here, we're always happy for you to come back and visit and always say hi to us.